Somebody say, put me in the game, coach. Put me in the game, coach. Put me in the game, coach. Put me in the game. Put me in the game, coach. Put me in the game, coach. Put me in the game. Y'all ready? Yeah. Yeah. Let go, let go. Let go, let go. Let go, let go.
Better go subscribe. You do roll with the tide. I'm down in the gun with Coach Smook. Through the game, roll tide, roll tide. Better go subscribe.
I like it. What y'all think, chat? Drop my phone. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into the conversation tonight. Today, this evening, this afternoon, whatever y'all want to call it. Let's get into it, man. I'm excited. Now, this sounds better. Tell the truth. I know I only got a few in the chat. We weren't expecting a lot of people, but we do expect people to show up as this hour-long segment kicks off. We took our full 5 minutes to do the intro. Now, we're not going to waste no time getting into the conversation. We're going to get directly into the conversation. Today's conversation, and I do need to edit something. Hold on real quick. I just forgot. Lord have mercy. Help me, Jesus. What we doing, baby? What we doing, baby? Let me see. All right, I can add it like this. All right, let's do this. Oh no, let me where is it at? What's good, everybody? Good to see everybody. What's up, Smooth? Volume is low. Oh, let me turn it up then. Let me turn it up. It might be me, man. I did turn it down a lot. Let me know if the volume is extra low, chat. Let me know. I turned it down a lot. Let me know, chat. Y'all should be good now. We should be good now. Everybody good? It's better? All right, bet. Let me see if I can do something else for you. Yeah. It sounds better, though. Like, I like this audio mix a lot better than on StreamYard. All right, there we go. There we go. Now we talking. All right, y'all. So we here. We here talking Alabama football. I was going to put a lower third up, but I don't care to do it all that. We'll do it in the edit. You all know what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about this Alabama wide receiver room. Some people are very excited about this room, and they have reason to be. Like, you know, usually I come in here with some other narrative or some alternative narrative to kind of combat some of the thoughts of the fan base. But one thing I can agree on with the majority of this fan base is that this wide receiver room is loaded with talent. I mean, 1 through 12, I believe we have 12 scholarship wide receivers, or 11. 1 through 11 can start at any Power 5 school right now, freshmen included. Derek Meadows could have signed somewhere else and been a day one starter. Latier Brooks could have been a more of a day one starter. I think he's part of that starting rotation. But this group is not limited to just one skill set. So many different skill sets. I think the word we like to use is versatile or multifaceted. What's the comments? Let me look at the comments. They said it's better now. Okay, that's good. Smooth said it right there. Versatile. This group is versatile. So today we're going to dive into a good little conversation, an extensive conversation about this wide receiver room. Looking at the personnel available, man, this group is loaded. So if you're ready to get into the conversation, somebody look in the chat and say, put me in the game, Coach Smook. I'm ready to get into it. If y'all ready to get into it, let's do it, baby. Lego. Woo.
You talking about Jalen Miro and the Pips?
Weak side linebacker, right?
I'm not going to take up a lot of time, but I want to say that I'm excited about what.
Okay, forgive me, my brother. What's on your mind?
Oh, I'm good. I'm just feel sorry for all the other content creators now that we have this mega star back in our presence.
Let's go, chat. Let's go. I don't know if I messed the transition up or not, but we here. We good. We back in the thing. Listen, if y'all want to know anything about like getting the stream set up or something like that, you want to get with me, let me know, man. I'm managing 2 other pages right now, or as a content manager, and we're about to go full services with that. So if you're looking to help grow your YouTube channel, if you all haven't noticed the growth on this channel in the past week, then you're just not paying attention. But we've changed some things, and we're doing some positive things in our own on our own channel to make sure we're growing and we're doing the things the right way. And we're not mooching off of anybody else's following, man. We for real just been grinding. So we've done our studies. We've done what we had to do to learn how to get in the algorithm, how to label stuff the right way. So if you're trying to start some content and want me to help manage it, we do provide services. So check it out, man. You know, Coach Smook Network. That's what it is. We do management, content management, and all that stuff. So let's get into this conversation, man. I'm excited. Alabama wide receiver room. As you can see, I got B-roll running right here. It's not necessarily going to be the players I'll be talking about or whatever at that time, but that's just to keep the eyes going. You know, a little something. Let me know how it look too. Does it look pretty good, chat? Let me see. Oh, that's not the cord. That's the cord. All right. Does it look good though? Let me know. We'll make it look better. What's up, Sooners for Life? Welcome in. C-Bama, what's good? Roll Tide, everybody in the chat. So, talking about the wide receiver room, man. Let's get into it. We all know about Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard. They are going to be, I guess, your foregone leaders in this room, right? But we went in this first. Before we even talk about the portal, let's talk about what we did in recruiting and retainment, right? Let's talk about what we did in recruiting and retainment. First, we got Ryan Williams in that first class. We got Rico Scott in that class with Ryan Williams. We also had Bubba Hampton in that class with Ryan Williams, and then a DB, but now wide receiver, Jalen Mbakwe. All 4 guys, explosive athletes at the wide receiver position. When you put the ball in their hands, they can make some big special things happen, right? When they get their opportunities. But you also got to look at some guys that were retained before that group. The last of Saban, right? You got Cole Adams and Jalen Hill, 2 wide receivers in their first year in the system under Kalen DeBoer were the only 2, post, I guess you could say last Saban recruits that's still there, right? And so they had to have provided some quality value. You had guys that were quote unquote more dynamic, more athletic, a lot faster, maybe more explosive than them. Kendrick Law, Kobe Prentice, Amari Jefferson. These guys were looked at as more explosive than these guys that stayed behind, but they didn't make good with their opportunities. Jalen Hill has yet to even impact the team like I think he is going to. We saw him his freshman year get a lot of flashes. I think he had like 6 or 7 receptions his freshman year. The most memorable one was the one against Ole Miss, the catch in between 2 defenders. Jalen Miro getting a helmet in his chest, tackle bearing down on him while he letting the ball go. Perfect pass. Jalen Hill secures it in between 2 defenders. I think it's in the highlights here. I know it's in the highlights. I just don't know when. But then you got guys like Cole Adams, right there beside him, some senior guys not necessarily seniors on the field, but veteran guys who've been in the collegiate level, provided some quality depth. Don't necessarily have to be wide receiver number one to be effective. So we're going to dive into the conversation about these guys as we continue to go through this segment. But as we sit here for a second, if you are not a member of the AAA family, I got to ask you to join the AAA family. This is a group, a community that is growing. I am talking about more than just Alabama fans. We got some Sooner fans in the chat now. We have some of everybody. We have Florida State. We have Oklahoma. We got Texas. We have Michigan in the chat. We have so many different fan bases, and it's inspired me to expand our content base. So we'll be collabing with a lot of content creators that provide quality content, not none of that boring old panel stuff that y'all see on every other channel. We're going to do some engaging conversations, some interactive things, and we're trying to set it up to where we have the content creators, that the teams that they represent. We're going to collab and play the live game simulation this year. You all know I started the live game simulation last year in a whole different dynamic, or 2 years ago in a whole different dynamic. And I see people trying to kind of mimic it now, but you all know authenticity stands alone, right? Authenticity above all. So that's going to be exciting. So if you all see Auburn guys, like right now we got Cam Newton. I know he's not an analyst or anything right there, but we have Cam Newton for Iron Bowl. We trying to line it up. We got to get some more gaming product. That's why I want y'all to promote. We want to be able to do things like that. But we got former Bama players that's going to be coming on to the show this summer. We actually had one that was going to come on today, but had a change of plan. Not a change of plans. Some things came up for he's coaching right now, so got player stuff to handle. So we're going to be excited. We're going to be able to handle stuff this summer. So if you haven't already, liked the stream, shared. Also think about becoming a member. $2.99 could help support. Until June 1st, the number is going to go to $4.99. I hope that doesn't chase anybody away. I don't know if the $2.99 option is still going to be available, but if it is, that's where I'm going to leave it. I left it there, even after the mass exits. I think is more than enough for what you all do on outside of being members of the AAA family. And plus, the content that we've been providing lately has been so on time that by the time we provide it, people have already tried to recreate it and do their own version of it. So the memberships, you all have been kind of slighted in what I've been able to provide, but what is there and available, if you go back and look, and you have been a member a few months ago when things were active, you definitely enjoyed having that membership. And then just the perks of being able to be on the inside scoop, behind the scenes of everything that goes on here at the Coach Smook Network. I think we provide a quality membership program. So think about joining the members. I'm sorry I got long-winded again, but back to the conversation. We talked about Jalen Hill, Cole Adams, guys that are veterans returning back, right? Coming back. But then you look at the new, I guess you could say the front runners in that room that kind of showed up last year in Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams, who I expect to be 2 of the 4 primary targets in this offensive passing game, right? I would even say 7. I think you're going to have 5 to 7 receivers with 40+ receptions in this offensive scheme this year. So, but Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard, both dynamic. We all know what Ryan Williams brings to the table. A game-changing playmaker, dynamic, very fast. I mean, the young man, 4.42 speed, maybe a little bit faster. Can elevate. Vertical is there. Want him to work on his physicality, and I think that's going to come with time. People forget that this young man has just turned 18. This young man was supposed to be a high school senior last year, going out there trying to make some, open field blocks or making good blocks or angles on, players that have been playing college football for 2 to 3 years at that point. So it's a lot of things that he had to learn, and I told you all last year that he would have to learn. But he showed up and he did exactly what he was came here to do, and that was make plays. Whenever he had an opportunity to make plays, he made plays. A few mistakes throughout the year, but growing pains are a part of the game. You look at not just Ryan Williams in that class, but now you have Rico Scott, who, if you pay attention to the Michigan game, there were some keyed calls for Rico Scott. And I know Kobe Prentice, Kendrick Law left the wide receiver room shorthanded. But you got to think, Amari Jefferson was still there. Cole Adams was hurt. Jalen Hill was hurt. So he was the first option up. I think Caleb Odom was still there. They didn't, really run him out there too much. So Rico Scott showing a lot of promise. And if you paid attention during spring training, I kept telling you all, 11 was getting a lot of 1 reps because you had injury to Ryan Williams, you had injury to Jeremy Bernard, tweak injuries, small injuries. But 11 was getting a lot of 1 reps, and that group of ones, the wide receivers, it doesn't matter if you have Latier Brooks or Cole Adams at the slot. When you have Rico Scott, Isaiah Horton on the perimeter, it's a dynamic group. These are 2 bigger body wide receivers, not necessarily taller than Rico Scott, who's only 6 foot, right? But he's a bigger body receiver, weighing about 200, 210, and he's going to make plays. So when he gets out in the open field, he kind of replaces Kendrick Law in my mind. He's around the same speed, provides a lot better, I guess you could say, route diversity because of his height. A true 6-footer that can go up and get the ball, probably has 35, 36-inch vert. Rico Scott has probably the second or third now, with Derek Meadows and Isaiah Horton being in that wide receiver room. Third or fourth largest catch rate is in the wide receiver room with Jalen Hill, Isaiah Horton, Derek Meadows. And then if you add the tight ends in that room, you got to think about it. Marshall Pritchett has a crazy catch radius too, with his 6'7" wingspan. So it's a lot of receivers and receiving assets available that got carried over from last year. Now, another personnel in that room that I think they kind of not necessarily sweeping under the rug, but we're kind of forgetting that he's in that room now. And I think this is the learning curve and specificity, right? Specific type of direct play calling style for this young man to get involved in the play calling, because I think that we will utilize 8 to 9 wide receivers a game fluently. Guys getting fluent reps, and I mean you got a top heavy group, and then you got some guys that playing rotational impact reps. Maybe guys getting in for specific play calls, maybe screens, jet sweeps. And I'm talking about Jalen Mbakwe. Another 24 guy, came over from the defensive back room. We've seen what at the high school level what he can do when the ball is in his hands. We saw him in punt return a few times last season. We saw him in the interception, returning interceptions. Can do some dynamic things when the ball is in his hands. I think it was a solid move for him, knowing what the wide receiver room transition-wise is possibly going to experience after this season, right? With I think we got 5 guys eligible for the draft. So this wide receiver room could see a lot of production leave. Jalen Mbakwe can sit back and learn and be ready, continue to develop, and next year be that guy. But I think he's going to be utilized this year in a lot of your change direction actions, a lot of your double move pass sets, maybe some of your trick plays. Being that he has quarterback experience, put him in the slot, double passes. We know Kalen DeBoer and his staff, Ryan Grubb, loves to call a double pass. So pace of play calling gets to change up when you got a guy like Jalen Mbakwe on the field. Because if it's not there, he's tucking it in. And how many players on the field are going to be able to catch him one-on-one in open field? How often are you going to be able to contain him and, the other assets on the field? Let's think about it. Russell can get loose. Keelan Russell can get loose in open field. He can use those legs. He's a lot faster than Ty Simpson. And even Ty Simpson is sneaky athletic when utilizing his legs. So I think right now in this wide receiver room, man, think about all the names that the guys that I just called. And these are the 24 guys. They were freshmen last year, true freshmen last year. And they impacted the game last year as true freshmen at some point of the season. Ryan Williams, Jalen Mbakwe, Rico Scott in the Michigan game. Also on special teams, Rico Scott made a lot of clutch tackles. Number 11, if you go back and watch a lot of the games, go watch number 11 on special teams. He gave his all. He 110% on special teams, right? We've talked about Jeremy Bernard. I keep talking about Jeremy Bernard because I think people get this misconception that he's just this dynamic playmaker, and I don't think that's what Jeremy Bernard is. I think Jeremy Bernard's skill set is, I said this about Ty Simpson. I don't think Jeremy Bernard does anything great, right? I think he just does everything so exceptionally well. Like, let's say if you had to average Jeremy Bernard out on a 4.0 scale, right? If we're giving guys that can do different things 3.8s, 3.9s, I'm giving Jeremy Bernard a 3.4. 3.4 GPA, right? Because he does everything so good. He's not going to go and do the extra. He's not going to go and do too much. What I ain't gonna say extra. He's not going to do too much. He's going to block great, right? Or good. He's going to block good. He's going to catch good. He's not going to have many drops. He can break down defensive read coverages. Knows when to sit down in the zones correctly. Jeremy Bernard provides so much value, and he doesn't have to be wide receiver option number one. I think the further down his options he is, that means the better your wide receiver room is, because he does everything that good. Route running's there. Everything is there. I love how they cleaned up the culture in the wide receiver room. 100%, Jordan. I was going to speak on that towards the end when I start talking about projections and production, our projected production. So here at the 25-minute mark, we're going to take another little segue here. And I want you all to take a second right now. If you're here on the YouTube side, I want you to go right now and share this stream. Share the stream somewhere directly to somebody. I want you all to like this stream. And if you're not subscribed, I want you to subscribe, because right now, let me see how many we got on YouTube. Let's see how many we got on YouTube. YouTube, y'all been acting up lately, man, on these midday streams. I can't even lie. How you doing, Kyle? What's good? I see y'all on TikTok. I'm sorry, TikTok. I forgot I was live on TikTok. I am so sorry. I am not gonna lie. I forgot I was live on TikTok. Appreciate everybody on TikTok for tapping in. If you're tapping in on TikTok and you were talking, you were saying something to me and I didn't address you, I apologize. We forgot that we were live on TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. So if you're on any other platforms, take a moment right now, tap the screen on TikTok, share on YouTube, like, hit the thumbs up on YouTube. And if you're on Twitter, hit that reaction, retweet it, let everybody know you're chatting with Coach Smook, and we're talking Alabama football, this dynamic wide receiver room. And if you're not a member of the channel, think about becoming a member, y'all. I'm telling y'all, perks are coming, perks are going, perks are lit, and we're doing it the big way over here at the Coach Smook Network. I appreciate y'all. And remember, when you see me in the streets, holler at me and say, put me in the game, Coach Smook. Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all for turning up with your boy one time, man. Y'all be showing some mad love, man. I had to start getting these segues and these little promotionals recorded so we can start looking a lot more professional, man. I can't wait. You know what? I can't wait till we get a studio set up, so we can have an engineer on site. That way I could work with the engineer live. I like having my own mixer and stuff so I could do impromptu things. And I would like to have an engineer or you know what I'm saying, a producer right there on site so they can do things live with me as I'm talking, because it's a different feel when you're catching it live right here in person with me. So yeah, can't wait to see Hale back. Oh man, I just got done talking about Hale. What's up, RP? Which is the best opening game? OSU versus Texas, Clemson versus LSU, Obama versus FSU. Hey, that's a good one. You know what? Let's get into that conversation. Hold on. Let's have that. Let's go segue out of this real quick, real quick, chat. I'm gonna segue out of this, and I want to answer that. We got a question from TikTok, chat, over here on YouTube. Let's segue back to let's go to the podium. Let's go to the podium and see what y'all got to say about this. Let's go.
You talking about Jalen Nero and the Pips?
Weak side linebacker, right?
Not going to take up a lot of time, but I want to say that I'm excited about what.
Okay, forgive me, my brother. What's on your mind?
Oh, I'm good. I'm just feeling sorry for all the other content creators now that we have this mega star back in our presence.
Let's get it. All right. So the question was, which is the best opening game? And I want to talk about this in an unbiased standpoint. Not RP says, which is the best opening game? And I'm going to type it in the chat so y'all can interact. Let me type it in the chat. Which opening weekend CFB game is the best? Has the most hype, is the best. He said OSU Texas, Clemson LSU. Oh, that's gonna be a good one too. And Alabama versus FSU. I almost smelled. was about to say that's definitely how you spell Alabama. Trying to tell me. All right. So I'm putting a poll in the chat. We got 26 in the chat over here on YouTube. Y'all can answer the chat over there. TikTok, I can't put a chat over there because I don't have the TikTok dashboard up. But give me some answers in the chat. RP, who you think? And Kyle, anybody in the TikTok chat, y'all let me know what y'all think. Which game? Y'all see the comment in the chat. But what do y'all think over here on YouTube? If I had to vote and being unbiased, you came over to YouTube. Okay, Leave, I appreciate you, my guy. All right, so if I had to vote, and I'm looking at all three, I'm probably going with OSU versus Texas. And I'm gonna say this because one, I think is highly anticipated because you have a new quarterback at Oklahoma. I mean, not Oklahoma, at Ohio State. You got a new quarterback. They got a lot of weapons. All the recruiting classes, all of that. They got Jeremiah Smith returning. That defense, a lot of pieces over there returning. Texas is a lot of hype behind Archie Manning, right? They have a lot of fan hype. They're probably the loudest fan base in the offseason for a reason I don't know. It's crazy because Ohio State actually won, and you don't see a lot of Ohio State fans talking trash. We have one dude come in. If y'all haven't seen the Ohio State fan, I like him. He probably the coolest troll we've had. He hasn't been by here in a while, but he usually comes over and cracks a joke or two, talk about my missing tooth and stuff. And I asked him, was that a picture of him? You know, he has a picture and he looked like he got bad sunburn. But I said, you look like you should be an Alabama fan with that sunburn. And he was like, oh, you got me, man. You called me a redneck, you know, and it was funny, you know, and it was cool trolling. He didn't call me out my name. He liked to use the clown emoji. I think it's funny, man. I think it's real funny. So if Ohio, I think his name is, or Nick Saban's daddy was his actual handle, Nick Saban's daddy. So if he ever pop in here, y'all don't block him. He's cool. His delivery is a little off, but it's not disrespectful. He even wrote me an email one time, just saying, you know, he appreciates allowing him to be in this space and talk trash. But let's get back into the conversation about the wide receiver room. Y'all vote on it, and we'll end the segment about that. All right. Let's go back to the locker room. I'm gonna fade it in. I ain't gonna do the intro. I want to get some responses before I vote OSU Texas. I think there's a lot of questions for Texas to answer it. I know they got a lot of talent that didn't play last year. They lost a lot of guys in the portal, to the draft, graduation, everything. They lost guys. They got a lot they're replacing. They got a lot that they're replacing, but it's talent. They got talent there. I'm excited to see what it turns into. I like Steve Sarkisian. I don't necessarily like Texas, but I like Sarkisian. I like what he stands for. I like how he's rehabbed his career. I love that, you know, I mean, beautiful wife, you know. If y'all haven't seen Mrs. Sarkisian, she really the boss. But she cool, man. She really does a lot for the community there in Austin. They're not uppity type family, coach families. You know, they're good people. Like the DeBoers. Speaking of the DeBoers, back to Alabama wide receiver room. So, we've spoke on Ryan Williams, Rico Scott. We've spoken about, you know, Cole Adams. I think I spoke on Cole Adams just briefly about his value. He and Jalen Hale. We talked about Jalen Mbakwe. We've talked about Jeremy Bernard. I want to talk about a guy that I think everybody's excited. Well, I know everybody's excited about, and he's kind of the highlight of the offseason, the highlight pickup of the offseason. What's up, Jason? Welcome in, bro. And that's Isaiah Horton, the wide receiver transfer from Miami. And I'm gonna tell y'all like this, man. With Horton, this isn't just y'all remember when Jamison Williams came from Ohio State and he wasn't getting a lot of targets? He was kind of buried on the depth chart. They kind of were, they weren't really going to give him an opportunity, you know. And he showed up and he was an immediate impact. The first game, nobody was, they was only talking about his speed in the spring, right? Nobody was talking about what he was actually going to do when the season kicked off. And so that year, when Bryce Young and John Mechie and Slade Bolden, when that crew of guys went off, you saw J-Mo come in. He was ready. Like, he had, I don't know what Ohio State didn't see in that gentleman. First round draft pick. I think we've stolen a first round draft pick from Miami. Isaiah Horton has the option to come back for a second year at Alabama. But I believe this young man is a first round talent. He might be the second or third wide receiver off the board, right? In this draft class, if he decides to go. But imagine if Isaiah Horton decided to come back next year, knowing Jeremy Bernard is going, knowing Cole Adams, Jalen Hill, all those guys might be gone, right? But I don't want to even push forward. Let's talk about this year. Isaiah Horton coming over from last year with Cam Ward, a Heisman winning quarterback. I think a lot of the decision to hit the portal was one. Bringing Carson Beck in is not an attractive thing for any wide receiver in college football. Like, you imagine, just imagine your coach as a wide receiver come and say, "Hey, I know we losing Cam Ward, but we're going to get Carson Beck. We're going to get Carson Beck to come in and throw the ball to you." Yeah, I'll pull one of them SpongeBob memes. That's my cue. And get up out of there just like Isaiah Horton did. But coming to Alabama, man, this young man, I think the size itself, it stands out. 6'4", 210, 215. Going to be a 4.49, 4.48 type speed guy, laser speed, but in-game speed, he's moving 4.3-ish. He looks like Calvin Johnson the way he moves out there. Loves to go across the middle, not just a deep threat. This is not a big guy that only thinks he can work, in one-on-one space. He likes to get mixy in between the numbers. In between the hashes. He likes to sit down in the middle of the field. Can give you yards after catch. Strong at the point of the attacking the ball at the highest point. Great hands, y'all. Great hands. I don't see a lot of drops coming from Isaiah Horton. And then this is a young man, you don't have to be right with all your throws when they're in his area. He and Jalen Hill 1 and 2, 1A, 1B, if you want to call it, as far as catch radius on this roster in this wide receiver room. They have probably the biggest catch radius. And I know Jalen Hill is only 6'1", but he has a catch radius because of the weight, the type of balance that he displays. When he's in the air, he can extort his body, twist his body, bend his body. We saw it against Ole Miss. He just kind of folds in the air, right? Stretches in the air, and then he has an innate ability to, like, he lands on his feet in awkward situations and is able to create more yards after catch. But Isaiah Horton has that same ability, but in a bigger body. And what Isaiah Horton does for this wide receiver room, just him by himself, just based off his pure size, right? What he does is he creates a mismatch problem to the point where you either have to lend safety help or you're going to die trying to play one-on-one with him. And I guarantee you, when Alabama plays against teams that really are great at stopping the run, like Oklahoma, South Carolina, Auburn, teams that are good at stopping the run, Florida, when we play teams like that, I know Florida's not on our schedule this year, but when we play those teams like that, we're going to need to be able to go in four wide receiver sets, right? And spread the ball out. And guys are going to have to win one-on-ones. You're going to have to be able to get the ball early in the quick game and be able to create explosive plays off of that. So I'm excited to see what Jalen Hill does, but also Isaiah Horton, man, because I can just imagine throwing a quick screen out there, a 5-wide set. Let's say we got a 5-wide set and you got your tight end and slot split to Horton side, right? Strong side, where he's the number one receiver on the boundary. And I could just imagine, let's say the likes of a who's a mauler. I like, you know what? If I would love to see Ty Lockwood get some opportunities to be a blocking split H-back this year. Kind of like what we saw from CJ Dupree and Robbie Oots. But in screen game, I don't know if y'all paid attention to Lockwood during the spring. But I remember the second scrimmage when everybody started dropping like fives off the tight ends. He was getting some targets and he was going with just about every group. Him, Peyton Fox, the walk-on tight end. These guys were getting a lot of reps. So he was showcasing things against first-team defenders. I was like, And he's 3 years on campus now, 4 years, I believe. So I think this year, a guy like Ty Lockwood will be very serviceable in the slot playing that wide slot in the 5 wide sets for quick screen reads, because you get body out there like him and that could block, get out there over overhang defender or on the safety and get a solid hat on him, and then get a guy like Jeremy Bernard possibly in the slot, or a crafty blocker in not Mbakwe, Rico Scott. You get 2 guys like that right there and split them to that side with Isaiah Horton. You got a mismatch problem. Cause now you can't just play too high safety. You gotta. I mean you can't load the box. You gotta play too high. We want 6 on 5 in the box. We love, and I guarantee you Ryan Grubb is going to tell them to hand the ball. If we got 5 in the box, the ball is getting handed off every time. What's going on, Jackson? Voice of college football is in the building. Crimson Tide, roll Tide. All right, y'all. So that's Isaiah Horton. I think Isaiah Horton just provides a mismatch problem, a dynamic that we haven't seen at Alabama since probably Julio Jones. I know we had Devontae Smith and all these other guys. John Mechie, we've had J-Mo, we've had Calvin Ridley, Amari Cooper, but you're talking about just sheer size and creating a straight up mismatch advantage, right? Having a mismatch advantage. You're talking about Isaiah Horton. And look at him. We just watched him take a 60-yarder to the house. It has speed. I told y'all 4.48, 4.49 speed, laser speed, but probably 4.3, 8.44 game speed. Strong hands. And I know y'all see all the videos of him training in the offseason, him and Ryan Williams getting some training sessions in. Hold on, we got frequency. Got frequency interrupting. All right, so final. This is the last topic. This not necessarily the last topic. This is the last segment or the last pieces of this topic, and it's 2 receivers on this roster, true freshmen. They will be I think their futures are very bright at Alabama, especially I'm gonna start with Derek Meadows. One, because I think Derek Meadows' opportunities to showcase who he is this year are going to be very limited, right? You got guys like Jalen Hill and Isaiah Horton in front of him. And then you got assets and I guess you could say personnel groupings that he doesn't, his skill sets don't fit. So when you go speed, Derek Meadows is not a burner. When you go big jump ball, you're going to have Isaiah Horton, Jalen Hill, whichever one of your 6'5" tight ends you want to use, and then possibly Derek Meadows, or right now they love Ryan Williams in the jump ball. They love Rico Scott. So Derek Meadows has a year to develop, and I think he has the same type of growth curve and growth plane incline like Jalen Mbakwe is going to be able to have, where when you're on the field, we're running a certain specific set of plays just so you can get good looks, and if you become open, that's your opportunity to make those plays and take advantage of those opportunities and show us that you're ready now instead of waiting next year. Because if they're getting an opportunity, it's usually something not going right in front of them, or we're that good in that good of a position in the game where we're giving guys some extra reps, and we like to call that garbage time, but I don't like to call that, because the guys that's out there aren't garbage, right? I know for a fact our guys that are out there during that time aren't garbage, right? So Derek Meadows, 6'5", 210. Once again, another big body receiver at the X position. Jalen Hill, 6'2", 195, 200. Then you're looking at Isaiah Horton, 6'4", 6'5", 215, 220. So big bodies at the X position, and you didn't have that at Washington. They used Rome Odunze like no other, and he dominated in this scheme. So three similar bodies, you're able to rotate, keep them fresh. This is going to be dangerous at the X position. But last but not least, man, y'all just seen the highlight on the screen. The true freshman, man, this guy's getting Ryan Williams, Jalen Waddle comparisons. I think for me, it's special because, one, I talked to Latsier Brooks a lot before he got on campus at Alabama, when everybody was laughing at the fact that he was being ranked as a 3-star. And if you all have been following Coach Smook for a while, and even when we was on BFOY,
when we were over there, y'all remember when I had Brooks come on, and that was the only. If y'all remember, Brooks didn't do a lot of social media stuff during his senior year. He didn't do a lot. We didn't see much from him on Twitter, Instagram, none of that. When he came on the channel with us, that was an honor. But he also showcased something that has transpired and carried over into the collegiate level and into the locker room at Alabama. And he gets down to business. Like he said that in the interview. He's all about his business. He has one goal, and that's to get to the NFL. He wants to be one of the greatest players to have ever played the game. He wants to make his family proud. He wants to make his hometown proud. He wants to be able to go back and contribute to his high school that helped him get to where he got to. You get what I'm saying? So I'm excited about Lasier Brooks. He's dynamic. I'm willing to bet that Lasier Brooks is one of the top 3 fastest receivers in the room. And you're talking about a room with guys like Ryan Williams, who's just a burner. Jalen Mbakwe is a burner. Cole Adams is a burner. Jeremy Bernard isn't a burner, but he got some straight line speed if he get loose. And he's shifty. He's shifty. So Cole Adams, Ryan Williams, Mbakwe, Lasier Brooks, Bubba Hampton. Bubba Hampton is who else I'm forgetting about. And I'm not gonna speak on Bubba Hampton. I gotta reach out to my people, and it might not be nothing bad, but I want to get in contact with him. The young man needs some encouragement, man. Those injuries can have a mental stress on you, have a mental stronghold on you, and have you not giving your best effort. And I'm not saying that's the case with him. I just want to give him some encouragement from myself and the family, because I think we were all so excited about, you know, the hype around him in last spring before his injury coming into the fall. So I want him to get healthy. He hasn't been healthy since he's been on campus. Would love for him to get healthy, because next year, you know, even this year he could have provided some quality talent, but next year he's going to provide some quality talent and depth. Okay. Lasier Brooks, just kind of finishing up and rounding off. Lasier Brooks is probably the most dynamic playmaker, natural wide receiver playmaker next to Ryan Williams in this room. And I'm saying playmaker because it's one of those things where they choose when they want to try and make the extra play. They have that much skill set and elusiveness, agility, speed, quickness, that they choose when they want to play or make the play, right? We love to relive that catch that Ryan Williams made against Georgia. But there's a catch that Lasier Brooks made last year as a senior, and there was no way he should have made that catch. He's running this way, jumps in the air and catches the ball over the defender because the ball was thrown behind him. So he catches the ball back this way, running that way, jumps in the air, gliding this way, catches the ball, snatches it before the defender can put his hands on it. So another receiver that can bail you out, right? Quarterbacks. And we got some quality quarterbacks. I don't think we're going to need much from a quarterback with the receivers assets we have available. But Brooks is also smart when it comes to the IQ on the field. This gentleman, I mean, I have a few friends that work on that staff, right? And they talk about, you know, the young guys' willingness, the 24 and the 25 guys, that meaning the sophomores and the freshmen, their willingness to just learn, right? Their eagerness to learn. And Lasier Brooks, I think that was probably one of the things that probably has sparked his growth, being able to have access to all of the things he needs so that he can continue to learn. And while we get ready to close this show out, man, we got about 10 minutes left. We got 38 people in the chat on YouTube. I need y'all to run them likes up for your boy, man. Y'all really showing out, man. We got 22 likes on the stream, 40 people in the chat. Make sure y'all drop a like. And Rebel Neckers from FO 401, please drop a like or drop a comment. You're not blocked. I would love to see some of what y'all got to say. I've been waiting. But yeah, 401, drop y'all comments, man. Anyways, yeah, I did that. So, wide receiver room, final synopsis. Let me get a different beat on this mug. And then we're going to go to the podium too. I want to go to the podium because I really think this is going to be the best wide receiver group we've seen at Bama since the wide receiver group that led up to having what, 4, 5 total first round picks. 5 total first round picks. I like it. My boy Show in the chat, man. The repetition. Yeah, my boy in the chat. Hey, he said bet on Brooks. Yeah, we betting on lots here. And the thing is, you know, even he was laughing one day. We were just chopping it up, and I was just like amazed at all of the feats and stuff the Coach Smook Network had accomplished, the type of information we had gathered over our year and a half in the industry, right? Actively in the industry as independents doing this thing, you know, with our own assets, our own resources, limited resources. And he was laughing because he was like, man, I remember everybody was talking about Brooks, 3 started, 3. And Jordan, man, y'all remember, nobody was believing him. Glenn, don't do me like that, man. You know I love talking about my receivers. I can go all day talking about receivers. That's why I had to check the time, because I will go. So just to kind of close it out, let's go to the podium, and then once we get done with that, we'll close it out, and then I'll check in with y'all a little bit later, man, with some gaming. As a matter of fact, we'll go gaming at 3:30. I thought my family was gonna be doing something today. If y'all, I ain't gonna talk about it. I ain't gonna cry. Today's my grandmother's, would have been my grandmother's 90th birthday. 90th birthday, man. I'm not saying she probably would have lived that long, but as long as I'm alive, her spirit's gonna live, and I'm gonna celebrate every year. So when I get done today, man, my plan was to just work, you know, kind of just stay distracted. But I know if my grandmother was here, I'd be at her house, or if I decided to work, she'll pull up on me. Y'all would see my grandmother so much. She was one of those grandmothers that was down with her grandbabies. It was a few of us that had a special, you know, little place with her where we got certain things that the older ones and the younger ones didn't get. And it's something about that middle group of grandkids, you know. So we plan on trying to go and see her site this evening. If not, I'll get out there this weekend and definitely go take her some flowers and put her some peanut butter cookies out there. Might drop her a Budweiser out there. Might stop at the gas station and grab a Budweiser, you know, with my grandma. Cause you know that was my granny. See, my granny old school. You know what I'm saying? My granny old school. She was old school. She would definitely pop her open the Budweiser and have her a good old time, man. Have a good old time. And shout out to my guy, man. That boy Nick popping in with the doggone $5 super chat, man. Let me move these alerts up here. Let me see if I can run that back, man. I like to see when these things pop up on the screen. They look so nice. Pretty cool. Let me see. Where is it at? Oh, there it is right here. Nick, I appreciate you, man. Y'all, hey, W's in the chat. W's in the chat. Yes, sir. Tight end room looks nice. Somebody said that Ty Lockwood transfer. Yes, because I'm talking about Jay Lindsey, right? That's what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. I did that last time too. If you go look at their builds, and that's the thing with having so many of the same frame guys and knowing them personally. Go look at Ty Lockwood's profile picture from 2024 and look at Jay Lindsey's. Look at the height and weight. Both of them 6'5", 6'6", 260, right? I got them mixed up. I'm sorry. My brain is fried from working all day, all weekend. Well, I should have been taking a break, y'all. I took some time to rest, but y'all know me. I was posting edits and editing and coming up with songs and all that stuff. So to close this thing out, y'all, Alabama wide receiver room. Let's close this thing out. Let's get out of here. All right, so final statements, final remarks here on the Coach Smook Network. If you're looking to defend Alabama's wide receiver room, right? Let's start there. Let's not just celebrate how we're going to beat everybody. Let's see how people are possibly going to try to defend us, right? And I'm gonna throw some things out there. I'm gonna throw some personnel groupings. I had a marker somewhere, but I can't find it. I was gonna just start Xing and O'ing it, but we'll do it. We'll do it another day. I just want to talk about a few personnel groupers. Let's just say, let's go 3 wide receivers here. Let's go 3 wide. Obviously, we want Isaiah Horton at the X. You want let's throw Jeremy Bernard in the slot and throw Ryan Williams at the Z. And the reason I want Ryan Williams on the Z, I want as much free release with him as possible. And if they walk a guy down to close space because they're not trying to give up the free release, I love his ability to get off the jam. But that opens it up so much for the receivers inside and the running back in the passing game. So just placement alone with those 3 creates mismatches. You can't ISO against Bernard. I mean, you can't ISO against Horton. He's too big of a body. I don't care. You can have a 6'3", 6'4" receiver against Horton. And this wide receiver right here is not going to work. You're going to have to bracket him and live with what he doesn't want. And then Jeremy Bernard is just a craftsman in the route running. You want a guy like that in the slot. He's also a playmaker. I think, honestly, if we're being honest, I think he's more so of a bigger yak guy than Ryan Williams. Ryan Williams does it more so downfield in open space. I think Jeremy Bernard's vision, back cutting ability, just the slight things, you know. Both of these guys some joysticks. I'm gonna tell you right now, they some joysticks, right? They some juke sticks. But that lineup in itself is dangerous. But then let's say we don't want the tight end out there. We don't want 13. Let's go 10 personnel, right? And we're going to have our 4 wide receiver set. And instead of having Jeremy Bernard and instead of having Jeremy Bernard out there, we're going to roll out Rico Scott. We're going to slide Ryan Williams to one of the slots, put Scott at the Z, and then we're going to bring Latier Brooks at the other slot. Now, me personally, because of mismatch advantages, I'm putting Williams and Brooks on the same side. I'm letting them run a tight. I'm putting them in a lot of tight sets, tight twin sets out there. And then guys like Rico Scott and Isaiah Horton with catch radius, you're rolling a lot of their concepts. You're flooding a lot of things to them, right? Trying to get them to utilize space, their radius in space. And then you can go speed. You can wipe that lineup. You can get a first down, make a full. Hold on, trying to see where I'm getting buzzing right here. Somebody texting me. So you can make a full lineup change. Go 4 wide, right? Let's go 4 wide again, and let's start at the X. Let's put Rico Scott at the X. Let's put Jalen Hill at the X, who's a vertical threat. I forgot to mention that about Jalen Hill. Definitely a vertical threat. Probably more of a vertical threat than Isaiah Horton, to be honest. But Jalen Hill, put him at the X. Then the slot next to him, let's throw Cole Adams there. And then the slot next to him, let's throw Latier Brooks there. Then on the other side with your 2 wide receivers, your weak side, let's throw Mbakwe there. Right? We're trying to get our speed on the field. Let's throw Mbakwe there, and then Ryan Williams at the Z. What lineups in the country, secondary wise, are going to be able to literally and all this success on this truly primary? It's not even about the quarterback. I think any quarterback could have those options available, those assets available, and be a great quarterback, because these guys are going to get separation. If the offensive line holds up, this is going to be the most dangerous wide receiver room. Not just group, but room from top to bottom. From top to bottom, I'm confident in saying this. Isaiah Horton, Jalen Hill, Derek Meadows, Rico Scott, Jeremy Bernard, Latier Brooks, Jalen Mbakwe, Ryan Williams, Cole Adams, Bubba Hampton. Let's not forget Bubba. And we're not even talking about the running backs' effectiveness in this pass game. We're just talking wide receivers today. Because there's some assets in the running back room. You put them in open space. You get them out on the swing route. It could get dangerous. It can get mixing. So final thoughts on this, man. Alabama's wide receiver room, I truly believe this is a top 3 group. You find out the quarterback situation. You figure out what's going to happen at that quarterback situation. I think your top 2 options are very viable. I think Ty Simpson should get the nod to get an opportunity to go out there and take advantage of this. But if not, Keelan Russell goes out there. I think he thrives with this group of receivers. There's a lot of excitement behind him. Not just him, but just the offense in itself with Ryan Grubb being back. There's a lot of excitement behind it. So I think Alabama is poised for a crazy productive offensive season this year with this wide receiver group. So if you enjoyed that, man, and you want to continue to see this content, make sure you like and share the stream. Make sure you drop a subscribe if you're not subscribed. We're almost at 3.1K, like I said. Check out our merch. We're dropping the merch. We finally got the files uploaded the right way. Shout out to our graphic design guy, Thad. Shout out to the whole team in the back that be helping out on the back end. Shout out to you, all my mods. Thank y'all for being who y'all are. And shout out to you, AAA family, the community, man. Y'all are great. Y'all are great. I appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget, y'all, just continue to share the content. We have a lot of shorts and VODs being posted. Make sure you go follow me at Smook Hines on YouTube, and at Coach Smook Gaming on YouTube, right? Go and follow those pages. Follow me at Coach Smook on all platforms. Follow every page because we putting content out. I promise you, anything you interested in, we probably talking about it or got something to do with it. Gaming, life talk, wellness, fitness, sports. We got it all here at the Coach Smook Network and all of our partners that we've been collabing with. Y'all continue to support, man. Continue to support and share. You know what goes the furthest in this industry? A like and a share. So if you can provide a like and a share, you've done more than enough, and I appreciate you more than you can know. So with that being said, remember, when you see me in the streets, holler at me and say, put me in the game, Coach Smook. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Y'all be good, man.
You talking about Jalen Miro and the Pips?
Weak side linebacker, right?
I'm not going to take up a lot of time, but I want to say that I'm excited about what.
Okay, forgive me, my brother. What's on your mind?
Oh, I'm good. I'm just still sorry for all the other content creators now that we have this mega star back in our presence.
Remember, when you see me in the streets, holler at me. Say, put me in the game, Coach Smook.
Put me in the game, Coach Smook. Put me in the game, Coach Smook.
Like, share, subscribe. You know we keep it live.
Put me in the game, Coach Smook. 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 Put me in the game, Coach Smook.
Like, share, subscribe. You know we keep it live. There's a touchdown later. Ready to play. I'm ready to play. Hit hard like a tackle, making plays. I'm about to break some. Kick me off the ball, I run it back. I'm about to shake some.
Remember, when you see me in the streets, holler at me.
You do roll with the tide. Down in the gum, down in the gum, down in the gum with Coach Smook. Through the game, roll tide, roll tide. Better go subscribe. TikTok, roll with the tide. Down in the gum, down in the gum, down in the gum with Coach Smook. Through the game, roll tide, roll tide. Better go subscribe. Twitter X, roll with the tide. Down in the gum, down in the gum, down in the gum with Coach Smook. Through the game, roll tide, roll tide. Better go subscribe. Instagram, roll with the tide. Who that? Take your face off that banner, man. I can't hear your keys or take the lead from piano man. He's black, not red like tomato juice. I heard you bounce around like a clown. I call him kangaroo. So I hope you get that hint. I just speak intelligent. You speak your segment from the fence. True. That's in my own word. Position make you switch. In my own word. Offensity above all this something they can never go.